Greetings, everyone. Welcome to module number 1. We are going to be diving into general concepts as far as ethics. We're going to be looking at codes of conduct, professional responsibility, and we're also going to be looking at genomics within this particular module. So we're going to really look at some of those ethical issues in contemporary nursing practice and explore the responsibility of those of you who are soon to be DNP prepared nurses, and helping you to build those leadership skills and helping you to develop the thought process based in leadership practice. So let's go ahead and take a look at the module itself. So we're going to start out, each and every module starts out with thinking about your thinking. And part of ethical practice is actually doing that very deep reflective thought, because ethics in general requires multiple considerations and very different focuses as far as the different lenses that you may look at particular issues, and really diving into those fundamental values as far as decision making. So we're going to start out with a YouTube, and it talks about mentoring. And again, it's a responsibility that we all have to actually mentor folks and help them to develop their own role identity in nursing. And that's a key component of being an ethical leader as well. So when we look at the nuts and bolts as far as this module, we're going to start out with the introductions, and that's when you can tell us a little bit about yourself, and we're going to look at factors that may be a little uncomfortable through this course. So I want you to share something about yourself that's important for us to know when we are talking about some of these concepts that may or may not be congruent with your own personal cultural values and beliefs, and that we devise this very safe environment to have very open conversations through our discussion board. So that's kind of the underpinning of getting started in the opening remarks. And then we're going to dive into forum number 1. So there actually within this module, there's the introduction, and then there's forum number 1. So we're going to start out with the introduction first. You're going to go through, of course, the TED Talk, and then you're going to finish up reading Skloot's The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. You're going to look at your textbook as far as chapters 1 and chapters 2, and really dive into those key concepts as far as ethical practice and the words that define that describe those concepts, such as justice, veracity, those types of things. So throughout this course, you're going to be using the language of ethics. So make sure that you have a really good understanding of those key components as you're going through your reading as well. We're also going to, because it's the basis of nursing practice, we're going to look at the Code of Ethics with interpretive statements, and we're also going to look at genetics and genomics. And again, it's really important to really engage and examine concepts of genetics and genomics, because they are a real driving force in practice, and there are quite a few ethical issues involved in some of the testing and big data that holds personal information as far as genetics, those types of concepts. So think about that as you're doing your reading. So you'll see that the readings are included in the module. You'll see the Code of Ethics, what you need to focus on for this particular module. You're reading through the Grace book and the competencies as far as ethics, as well as the ANA standards as far as genetics and genomic competencies. And then there's a video that I'd like you to really take a look at and think about as far as gathering genetic information on folks, and think in concepts of informed consent and whether the general public really understands what they're consenting for, the value as far as advancement of medicine and healthcare as far as having that information. So there are many considerations when we're looking at genetics and genomics. And part of our discussion board, one of the choices will involve genetics and genomics as well. Of course, the readings, here's the link to the forum, and then in the content folder, I am going to open that up for you. There is quite a bit of information here that may help you as you're doing your discussion boards, moving forward as far as some of your assignments. Some of the information embedded here will be wonderful resources for you as you move forward. So please take a look at what's available here. Again, it's important to know what you have access to that will help you as you move forward, not only in this course, but also know what resources are out there for you as you forge forth with your leadership practice. So here we are in our forum, and this is where the introductions will go, and feel free to post your introduction, and please touch on the components that are requested for the introduction, in addition to knowing something about, just briefly about your family, those types of things, but also what's important for us to know about you as we move forward with our conversations. Again, going back to, because it's so important that we have this very safe environment to have discussions, and also share a saying or a quote that is very meaningful to you in the context of ethics. So again, this will provide us with a little bit of insight of maybe your moral cloth or your personal values, those types of things. And then as we take a look at our first formal discussion, this is where we are going to actually, the system for the discussion boards, they are going to open on Sundays to allow you ample time to get started so that you can answer the questions. But again, I do ask that you formulate your responses in a Word document and then upload those copy and paste from your Word document into the discussion board, your response, starting on Thursday or up until Sunday when they're due. So again, we want to stay on the same page when we're doing our discussions. So you'll notice that there are sets of questions, and you may choose which question is most interest to you. And again, this helps us to divide and conquer as far as each of you doing different or choosing which set of questions you want to answer. So if you have any questions whatsoever about getting started with module number 1, please reach out to me. The best way to reach me is through email. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have or just verify that you're on the right track. All that is good. So take care now. Let me know if you need absolutely anything. Take care.